Question number one is, what is globalization to you in a personal sense? How has it affected your current mindset, life situation, and the like? In my personal sense, globalization helps each country to promote and increases interaction between different regions and population around the globe. Globalization also helps the countries to have a faster movements and exchanges of goods, services, technologies, cultural practice, human beings, and also capital. It affects me since globalization has led to an improvement in standard of living through improved roads and transportation, improved education due to the global expansion of the corporation. And it really helped not just me but everyone to have a better community or region that has more accessible lifestyle and community. Question number two, what do you think is the greatest challenge posted on regionalization and globalization in the Philippines, and how can this challenge be addressed accordingly? So the Philippines find it hard to cope with the globalization process because its weak institution of governance have failed to create suitable socio-economic and political conditions that will attract more capital and technology from both domestic and foreign sources necessary for economic growth. We should address this by investing in understanding customers and the problems customers experience in their local context, and reach across borders to learn best practices and innovative ideas from people who have dealt with similar problems in the different contexts. Question number three is, what are the aspects that hinder the Philippines from becoming a first world country and why? I think there are three factors that hinder the progress of the Philippines in becoming a first world country. These are the inefficient infrastructure, corruption, and lack of entrepreneurial spirit. First is the inefficient infrastructure has been one of a major constraint to economic growth and poverty reduction in the Philippines. Though the country has relatively high access levels to water, sanitation, and electricity, service levels have failed to keep up with rapid population growth and urbanization. Secondly is corruption. Due to the corruption, Philippines don't attract a lot of foreign investment compared to the other Southeast Asian countries. The culture of corruption permeates all the levels of government. Some politicians run for public office not for the purpose of serving the people but to enrich themselves and their families. And the sad fact is majority of the Filipinos accept this or they are immune to this kind of governance. Thirdly is the lack of entrepreneurial spirit. Most of the Filipino mindset is to study for a degree and work for a company and become an executive. Because Filipino wouldn't start a small business and build it to become a big company, therefore they become employees rather than business owners and create jobs. Philippines relies on export of agriculture products which are low value, and without entrepreneurs, Philippines can never become a high value product exporting country. Question number four is, as a Filipino youth of today, what can you contribute so that the Philippines will have a chance to be in the cluster of the global north countries, and expound your answer. So as a Filipino youth, for now, I think the only contribution I can offer is to educate myself and my fellow youth about the globalization, what are the positive and negative impact of it in our country. And also how can globalization can be a great opportunity for us to have a chance to be in the cluster of the global north countries. Also, we should provide young people the right skill and the opportunities they need. We should teach them how to improve their lives because I myself know that the youth will step up. Question number five, what do you think are the major problems faced by leaders in the global community in terms of global governance? How do these issues affect you on a personal level? I think the major problems faced by leaders in the global community in terms of global governance are threats such as ethnic conflicts, infectious disease, and terrorism, as well as a new generation of global challenges including climate change, energy security, food and water scarcity, international migration flow, and new technologies are increasingly taking center stage. Today, however, the most overwhelming threat to our overall global health and well-being is the COVID-19 pandemic that we've been facing since its discovery in Wuhan, China in late 2019. This issue really affects not just me but everyone in the world. It creates a lot of conflicts to all of us. The economic growth has decreased. For me, it really affects me since I can no longer go to school to have a most faster learning. My family has always been at risk every time they go out for work. I'm facing a lot of anxiety since I have this feeling that every time they go out, they can get the virus anytime. But today, we should always put in mind that we should always follow what the government protocol is.